So in today's episode, we're going to be talking about what it's like to watch Japanese TV. Is it true? Is it fake? Is it, what's going on with Japanese TV? I mean,
And to be on Japanese TV as you have been
well, years and years and years ago. Yeah.
years and years ago, but
Yeah.
I'm sure things haven't changed that much.
No, I'm still friends
So
with
to
all the
speak.
guys that still do it for
Mhm.
that's their job. But
Yeah, we've wanted to get one of those guys on here for a while, but he's hard to get.
very difficult
Mm. We'll have to wrangle him eventually.
eventually. It's like
Yeah.
cats.
I was watching TV. I don't normally get to choose what's on the TV here in my home, but when I do, most of the time when I don't, most of the time it's Japanese. And there are a plethora of different style Japanese TV shows. Some are like more recent sort of theme shows. Some are
Like a
very
variety
traditional.
show.
Yeah, like a variety show. Some have been on TV for years.
Right.
Like the one
Decades.
I was watching this evening. Yeah, it's decades. And they have other ones where they'll go back and revisit them. So and I think most of the time when people hear about Japanese TV, they think the Japanese commercials.
Right.
Because they have some of the wackiest commercials, or they used to. Like there was a sort of famously known for their wacky commercials, sometimes including notable celebrities from Hollywood.
A-listers.
Like
Arnie.
Real hard, like top of the list A-listers.
Yeah, Arnie was here for Nippon Ham.
Yeah.
For years. Stallone was for Kieran.
Yeah. I still like the coffee ones with Tommy Lee Jones.
Tommy Lee Jones, and then most recently, there's an insurance. Oh no, wait. Is it AU? I think it's AU, the phone company, the mobile phone company has Bruce Willis.
Yes. Yeah, I have seen him recently.
Yeah.
Or was that SoftBank?
It might be SoftBank. It's one of the phone companies.
Might be SoftBank, because I think they've got a Docomo tie-in, or Doraemon tie-in with Bruce Willis. Like Bruce Willis is this anime cat in real life kind of thing. It's a really weird commercial.
Like you said, they're all like really convoluted, weird commercials.
Yeah. They've got a talking dog, so
and it's not his real voice.
And it's not his real voice, obviously. No. The dog's just a horrible person, but they dub him in to make him more appealing on TV.
Sits around, licks his balls,
spews racist propaganda.
Unpleasant to be around. Wants to smell your butt all the time.
Yeah. And what was your, since we're going, if we go further back, it's your history. What was your first start in the Japanese TV world?
Well, as you pointed out, there's many different kinds of programs. Mine was more of a hidden camera program. And the very first one that I was in is one called London Boots. And that's a couple of Japanese famous comedians that are very famous still to this day, very popular. And they used to have this hidden camera program where they go out and put cameras on the beach and then like follow weird people around and see how they interacted with other people. So my character that they told me to be was like, I had to put this sock into a Speedo. So
and so they were catching you on film.
Yeah,
adding a third sock.
No, adding. I had a sock in there when it showed me, right? But walking around talking to these young girls with this extra bit of padding, and then actually when I become super creepy, a bunch of people run out. All the comedians run out and like try to bust me on camera for being super creepy, kind of like Catch a Predator. Not they're not children. You're talking to adults, but it's like Catch a Creepy Dude. You're not really committing a crime. You're just being kind of an annoying asshole.
Yeah, and this isn't quite the just for laughs that we have in Canada.
No,
where it's like pranks or
not pranks,
or they do silly things to see the people's reaction. This is scripted.
Yeah, it's scripted, but it's supposed to be real. So you have to act like you're surprised. And then when they catch me, I'm like, hey, I was just talking to this girl, and then someone pulls out the sock. And then it's like, oh,
not you. Somebody else pulls out.
They grab you, man, like they're like security guards, and they grab you and they're holding you. And then while they're holding you, somebody reaches in and grabs out the sock, and then it's revealed that you had a sock down there all the time. It wasn't just a giant, big old fat hog. Yeah. and then you're like, oh god, I'm busted, and then they drag you off to this like little back room where they keep you until the end of the show.
And of course, they wanted a giant foreigner for
Yeah,
this
of
role.
course, yeah. That was the whole point. That was the whole point of me being on there. That was the very first show, and then I actually was on there, and I was doing such a like a it's kind of like you'd call it overacting, like really
Oh yeah.
Jim Carrey-ish, kind of like I knew I had a giant fucking honker hog on me. So what do I do with that? And that leads me everywhere. So the way I'm walking around and like kind of like bumping into people and shit with it, knocking stuff off of tables and yeah,
Mm-hmm.
just being really annoying, an annoying asshole, right? So just being, but it's all supposed to be quote unquote real. But everything on Japanese TV is fucking fake, bro. Everything is fake. Nothing's real. It's all scripted.
Once you told me that, quite a while ago, you told me that. But once you told me that, I really saw it.
Yeah.
It's like knowing that pulled the curtain back, and you could just see how everything was just arranged.
Yeah. It's like everything you see, like they do. Oh, there just happened to be a camera there when that happened. You know, it's just there just happened to be a camera pointed right at that thing while that happened. Sure, pal.
Yeah, and I'm sure there is some moments that aren't scripted, but then in those moments they're relying on the talent.
Yeah,
which is the famous people, the comedians, the models, the eye candy, whatever they are. They're relying on their performance.
Correct.
Kind of like an improv.
Correct. You kind of
some is scripted, and then I'm guessing the rest is improv.
Well, they give you the general idea of what's going to happen. This is what we want to happen.
Right. And they want big surprise. They want exaggerated expressions.
Right. And they're overacting. They want Jim Carrey. Everyone needs to be Jim Carrey. So they want really big reactions and overacting. And for example, like some of it can go kind of awry. Like one time they wanted me to go to a ninja school. It was like an all-day thing. Fucking ninja school, right? And then like I'm a martial artist anyways. I've been a martial artist my whole life since I was a kid. And they wanted me to go to a ninja school, and I was already annoyed at the fact that I had to go to a fucking ninja school. So they take me all the way to Iga, which is the place where there's the Koga ninjas and the Iga ninjas. There was two factions of ninjas back in the day when they were actually a thing. And there was Koga and Iga. That was where they were from. So they take me to this Iga place where they're supposed to like quote unquote train you to be a ninja. And it's an all day thing. They just cameras follow you around while they're training you. And I got this attitude like this guy's so full of shit. This ninja guy is so full of shit. And I just can't help it. I'm laughing at him. Like he wants us to copy his techniques. So he's doing this one thing where he runs and then he rolls for some reason. Then he jumps up and runs again. And then he wants us to do that. No, I don't want to run, dude. I'm 6'4". I'm 115 kilos. I don't want to run. I don't want to roll. I don't want to fucking roll on the ground like Captain Kirk. Fuck you, man. I don't want to do it. First place, where the fuck am I going to hide? It's like, Dash, we can see you, bro. You're not hiding anywhere, bro. We can see you from plain sight, dude. You're 6'4". We can see you, man. I'm not hiding anywhere, man. So, okay, so I'm there. And then it goes on and on. So this little ninja guy, there's like this bamboo wall across the river. And he wants you to put your fingers and your toes, like there's a little notches carved out. And he wants you to go across the wall using just your fingertips and the tips of your toes to cross this wall. If you're a tiny little Japanese dude, no problem. That's easy for you, right? You probably weigh 130 pounds. What's that? 65 kilos?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, and so he easily goes across the wall. Then the guys that I'm with, they all went across the wall. Then I'm there. I'm trying to get across this wall, and it's literally your fingertips, man. You're holding on to the wall with your fingertips and just the tips of your toes. You got to cross all the way over. And then when I get all the way over to I'm the last one, of course. When I get all the way over to the end, he's like, "Oh, you got to go back and do it again. That wasn't fast enough." I'm like, "Bro,
You think it's going to be faster?
yeah, bro, you can go fuck yourself." Yeah, I'm not gonna do that again. First place, I'm not gonna do that over again. This is the magic of TV, bro. You can just re-edit that shit and speed me up or whatever.
Yeah.
I'm
Take it
there
from
as a,
different angles.
I'm there as a, yeah, I'm there as a fucking actor. I get it. It's done. I'm across. Let's move on. The next thing is there's a rope that goes from the ground up to this branch on a tree, and you're supposed to put one knee over, and then one leg hangs down, and you hang on with your toes across the rope, and then you shimmy up the rope, just like you would do in the military,
Yeah.
like to cross a rope bridge, right? But this rope is not taut; it's kind of loose, so it kind of goes like sags in the middle.
Sags in the
Yeah.
middle, yeah.
So I'm trying to go up this rope, and the first thing that happens is I get up this rope to a certain height, like maybe, let's say 5 to 7 feet off the ground, and this rope, like where it sags, I flip over, it wraps around my nuts, and I fall down on the ground, and I hit myself on the back, and I knock all the wind out of myself. So now my balls fucking hurt. I can't breathe, and this motherfucker's standing on me going, "Oh, you got to get back up and do that again." I'm like, "No, I'm not gonna do that again." Yeah, you can go fuck yourself. He's like, "Well, if you can't do that, we're not gonna send you on any ninja missions." I'm like, "What ninja missions are there, man? This is the 20th century, the 21st century. What ninja missions are there?" You realize assassinating people is a murder. It's illegal. You can't go around assassinating people. What ninja missions are there? The whole day goes on. The next thing we got to do is there's this little river, and they want to throw this like tatami mat, like a mat made out of hay. You know, they want to throw that across the river. Then you're supposed to run really fast, and before you sink into the river, you're already moving. You're already moving a step, right?
Like a frog on lily pads.
Like a frog on a lily pad. Once again, I am 6'4" and 115 pounds. I am not built for speed. I'm built for comfort and play. Yeah. So everyone knows, all these little guys get on the tatami mat. They throw it out there and they go up. They run across the mat. Yeah, you did awesome. You're awesome. Next guy runs across the mat. Now it's my turn. Splash, splash. Anyways, I'm covered in mud and my ninja suit is full of water. So I get out and I'm letting all the mud and water out of my boots, my ninja tabby. And the guy's coming back and he's like, once again, he's all up in my shit going, "Oh, you got to do that again. You didn't do a good job." I'm like, "Physics, bro. Look at this shit. There's no way I can do that."
Now at this point, I'd have to ask, is this the producer's expectation?
No, like, they're mad.
Did he pick a giant foreigner so that they could watch the giant foreigner bumble along with his massive size trying to do these little man stunts?
No, they were not very happy themselves. They were very angry about that.
Oh, okay. So this wasn't the plan. Like I thought they might have gone from the comedy angle to make fun of the foreigner.
Nope. They wanted me to do all that shit, right? And I'm not playing along, and I'm just trying to do it, and it's not working out, and I'm fucking it up. And they're mad. The guy who's the ninja master is mad. I'm not going to go on any secret ninja missions anymore. And then they're mad because I refuse to do it. So the next thing we get to is sword fighting. So they get these. Everyone gets a wooden sword, and we got to go block up, parry down, stab forward, and then block that. There's like a 3-step move we're supposed to do, right? And then I'm doing it, and I'm pretty fast at it. Boom, 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 boom. It's pretty easy. It's just coordination, hand-eye coordination. And I'm pretty good at it. And everyone's like, "Oh, Jeremy's pretty good. He's doing all right." Ninja Master doesn't like this because everyone's like looking at me and stuff. So he comes over and he's like, "Why don't you do it with me?" So I do it, and I go block up, and he comes in really close, and he pushes his sword down on mine, and he's like really close to my face. He's like almost chest to chest. There's like maybe 3 or 4 inches between our chests, and we're holding our swords in between. It's like Anakin versus Obi-Wan, right?
Right.
episode 3.
That face-to-face moment where the swords are crossed and you can
tense.
exchange your words
Yeah,
before
the
continuing
guy
the fight.
hates me, I hate him, and he says something to me like, you know, blah, 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 blah. What are you doing, man? And I'm like, oh yeah. Then I take a step back. He keeps pushing forward. He slips past me, and I just bring the sword down on his head. Whack! Smack him across the back of the head, and I go, I win. What do you got you? And he just got really pissed, and then I just threw the sword down. I'm like, I fucking quit. Yeah, and he was like rubbing the back of his head and shit like that, and he was mad, and the producers were mad. We still ended up using it. Still ended up being
So you were on the show. They didn't cut that. They didn't edit it.
We just trimmed everything down. We trimmed it all down.
Right. So they made the other people the focus of the show, but you were also there.
I was there, and then they showed me going through it. They just cut out all the parts where I fucked up and couldn't do the stuff right. Which is what I said in the first place. It's TV magic. You can just do it on TV. You don't have to do it in real life. Special effects, bitch.
Right.
Hey, when I play jujitsu, come on over to my dojo. Tell me how you ninja out of this choke. Once again, a lesson in physics for you, sir. So that shit's all fake. The point of that whole story was that everything they do on TV is fake. Everything's all made up.
Yeah.
What shows are you liking these days?
Well, it's not so much liking. It's just a matter of seeing it on TV. Like, most recently, there was a series of shows where they would take these sort of celebrities, the talent, and for an explanation, talent is someone that they like to put on TV regularly.
Yeah.
And once you become a talent, you could be a comedian, you could be an actor, you could be a model. But once you're a talent, you're on almost every show for that station. You get a contract with that company.
The way it works,
they use you on so many different shows.
The way it works is like old school Hollywood. Like Robert said, You get a contract. And it's like Clint Eastwood was the same way. He was on Bonanza. He was on Star Trek. They just use him in a lot of different shows. You become their talento. And like he said, they just use you on a bunch of different shows. You get a monthly stipend.
It's the guest star kind of thing, as it was in the old days on North American TV.
Yeah, and like wrestlers, you get a push. They push this guy. He's on every show this month.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
mm-hmm. And they have their popularity, so they start out and they become super popular, and they're on almost all the time, and then they can wane, they can come back. It's kind of a flow, right? Depending on how their popularity continues, because it's all about popularity. If they're not getting the ratings on the show, or if they're not liked by the audience, then they're going to have a reduced capacity.
Yeah, and usually for foreigners, it's very rare. It's very rare that they stay popular for very long. They might be popular for a year. There's only been a few foreigners out there who have like a staying power, like Dave Spector, who's been on who's been on TV for 30 years here in Japan.
And they're usually the ones that are perfect in Japanese.
Right, Bobby's
and they have a decent personality. They like Bobby because of his voice. Like he has been doing a lot more voiceover recently than actually on screen.
So me and Bobby, we used to have the same agent, and we started out on the same day on the same show. He was on that beach show with me where I was walking around. He was one of the guys who caught on the beach.
Right.
And then he goes, "Your boy, no, your boy." And then that's what got him to be popular. Then he was on Kamakura TV with the Fane Kamu, and then I was on that as well. And then I guess his character kind of took off, and he got real popular after that. Very popular, very successful.
Yeah, he was in a lot of stuff for a while.
He tried to get into fighting for a while, and he kind of crossed back into my world a little bit. And he's
was that Pride or K1?
K1. It was K1. He's like,
K1.
I know you. Yeah, and I was like, we did a movie together. We did Suribaka Nishin number 14. We did that together back in 2004. He's like, I know you. I'm like, yeah, we've been on TV together, bro. We've done movies together. So he knew my face. He didn't know my name. So I mean, we weren't tight buddies, but we know each other.
Yeah, the last I saw him, he was the narrator for one show, and they would occasionally show him talking in a bubble.
Yeah.
But most of the time, he was just doing the voiceover narration.
Yeah, he's got like a very distinct voice.
Yeah,
When
and a
speaking Japanese.
and a style too.
In a style, and it works
The way that he
really well.
speaks
Yeah,
is kind of fun for Japanese.
yeah.
Yeah, and so recently there's been a talent show, well, a few weeks ago at least, where they'll stick them on this island, and they have limited supplies. Now they can either pick like household items or items from a 100 yen store,
Oh wow.
or tape. And what they all seem to have to do is they all seem to have to go swimming and fishing, so they have to catch their food. They have to try and eat it. They have to find water. They explore the island a bit. They make beds, and then they make a boat. And their task at the end of the show is to get themselves from the island back to the mainland. And it's like a kind of competition between them. So
Right.
they're all kind of on the same island at the same time, but it's not like they're fighting each other for resources or anything, because they all come with their own stuff. Like one came with 100 yen stuff, a
A
whole bunch of
Japanese
stuff from
version
100
of
yen store.
Survivor, you might say.
Well,
Kind of.
like more like Castaway kind of thing.
Castaway, yeah, but I get the point. I mean, I would excel at this because I'm good at making
Mm,
and catching shit. And I'm an old country boy from Texas, so I bet you would as
yeah.
well. You're from Canada. You'd probably give you a loincloth and a spear, and you'd probably become Lord of the Flies, man.
Yeah, I had outdoor survival training when I was in grade 6. So
Yeah, that's what
outdoors are nothing new for me. And
the
so
outs the outside
that was a very
doors.
popular show. When you watch it and
Yeah,
when you realize that a lot of it is fake, you see how it's like good luck, bad luck. Some of it's like actual, like they have to try and catch the fish. But TV magic as well.
bro.
They can set that up.
Yeah,
They can arrange it so the guy ends up with a fish.
there's somebody poking something with a stick that looks like a fish, and
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
neither the actor nor a fish. And then suddenly the guy's on the beach with a
He
giant,
pops up. He
beautiful,
pops out of the water
yeah,
holding it.
yeah,
Yeah,
a
look, I got it.
beautiful piece of sashimi. Wow! And of course, he knows exactly how to butcher a fish, so he has a gorgeous piece of sashimi.
So these kind of shows, and they're wacky because they pick the most outrageous characters.
Yeah,
More recently, it's been a lot of YouTubers. They seem to be pulling the YouTubers in.
they did that for Ryzen too. They had a
Yeah.
YouTuber fight a kickboxer in Ryzen this year.
Was it decent or?
The YouTuber won. He won by an armbar. He could wrestle a little bit, but like think about it
Mhm.
like a sloppy white belt who's been doing. Think about a white belt who's been doing judo or wrestling for maybe 4 or 5 months.
Right.
That kind of level. He's not like a Dean Lister. He's not grabbing the dude.
Not tactician, but certainly
He knows
basics
how
and
to do arm
strength.
bars.
Yeah, basics and strength.
Yeah, he knows how to do arm bars. He might do a Seo Nagi, you know,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
something like that. Some very basic shit, right? Like front kicks. He knows how to do a front kick. Yeah.
Mm, yeah. And so these are more recent shows that I was watching. Um, there are long-standing shows that are actually quite interesting,
Hmm.
where they have. There's one show that comes on. Very nice. Yeah, you've been drinking that for a while.
Buffalo
Getting to the
Trace.
bottom.
Yeah.
There's one show that it's where they pick a little boy or girl, maybe 5 years old plus or minus. Like sometimes they go pretty young.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's a little older, and they make them go to the different stores buying groceries
Oh, to get groceries for their mom.
to get groceries for the mom or dad for
I've
supper.
seen this show. It's adorable.
And or they'll send out a pair of them, like a 3-year-old and a 5-year-old,
Your
giving them
brother
a
and a
shopping
sister.
list.
Yeah, brother and sister. Yeah.
Giving them a shopping list, some money, and then following them with people disguised holding cameras and bags and whatnot. So the attempt of not making it obvious that they're recording these kids.
Yeah.
And,
So
and they make mistakes. They go the wrong way. They do silly stuff. They buy the wrong things. It's a very entertaining show. This is one of the good shows. Like you can watch this and you find it interesting, as long as you don't feel it's too exploitive.
well, the thing is,
Yeah.
like, they also set those kids up. Like, they'll be in a shop, and the shop will have their favorite candy that they have to walk right by, and they've only got like
Right.
enough money to buy milk that their mom wants them to buy, or they can buy this candy, and they got to go back and tell mom they didn't have milk. They make a story out of it. It's
Right.
kind of use the word exploitive, but I think made up as
It's
made up
kind
as
of it's kind of on that edge of
It's adorable. It's like
they are kids, and it's adorable to watch.
yeah.
When they're successful or when they're not, it's funny.
Yeah, they might ask an old lady, how do I get home? And she's like, where do you live? And he's like, he doesn't know his address, but he says, I live in a big brown house on this street. It's really adorable. Yeah.
And one of my other favorite shows is every New Year, besides the Red and White Show, which is a musical review of the different popular bands and some traditional music, and besides the martial arts, which you get to cover most years.
Yep.
There's also a comedy group called Downtown.
Yeah, I worked with them before. I've been on their
show. They host a show every New Year, or at least they play the show every New Year of 24 hours where they're in a situation where at the start they're not allowed to laugh, and if they laugh, they get whacked with a like a baton style stick.
Yeah,
like a Nerf stick kind of.
I've been on that specific program. This is like 20 years ago. Yeah.
Right. And so they have guys with masks. If they laugh, they get called out by the narrator, and the guy comes in and whacks them on the ass.
So I've been the guy who comes in and whacks people.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So one year we had to dress like Roman guys and togas.
Roman soldiers?
Not soldiers, but just like aristocrats.
Okay.
Where we'd wear like a Roman white porcelain face mask with a olive wreath around the head, but you'd have like a toga on.
Okay.
And it looked kind of creepy, like some Doctor Who shit. And then like the same thing you were just talking about, they can't laugh, and if they laugh, I come in and hit them with a baton.
Did you give them a good wallop?
No, I want to explain something to you. That baton doesn't hurt.
It's
made
TV. I know.
It's made to make a loud sound. And I've also been on a program with them where they're in a bar, and then there's a couple of loud gaijins, foreigners next to them. They keep interrupting, which I'm one of those foreigners. And we end up getting into a fist fight with those guys, and like throwing a bunch of shit on them. And then like the little guy looks like a monkey. He always says he looks like.
Yeah.
I'm not being racist. That's
the actual joke.
His shtick.
They make that joke every once in a while. Yeah. It's really funny.
So that guy picks up a chair and then cracks me over the back with it. Whack! But it's a breakaway chair. It's all made out of styrofoam. And then I do the spin around, and I go, and then I pass out. Like a Shemp thing from the Three Stooges.
Exactly. Yeah.
Pass out. Yeah, I've been on their show a few times.
Yeah, and it's a very entertaining show. Like even if you don't understand all the Japanese, it's vaudeville-ish.
It's very
vaudeville-ish. It's slapstickish.
Yeah.
You can get some of the jokes. You won't get everything, obviously, because some of it is cultural, some of it's language based, where you have to know the joke. But some of it is just slapstick enough that you can watch it and find it pretty funny.
Yeah, it's interesting stuff.
Yeah, and I like to watch that show, and it's every year they have a different theme. Every year they dress up differently. One gets a bad costume, one doesn't. And then after the initial part of the show, they get into doing skits and running around. And it's not so much the laughing and the beating. It's more about doing weird stuff to them.
Yeah.
And it's really fun to watch.
Like sometimes they might put them in a bathtub full of hot water.
Yeah,
which is fucking dangerous. But I'm telling you, it's not as hot as they make it out to be. They
do it two ways. They do the hot water or they do the ice water.
Yeah, both ways. Yeah.
And they jump from one to the other. Like they get forced into one, and then they jump out and they try and cool themselves off, or they try and heat themselves up.
But it's not as hot or as cold as they make out to be. Or there's another one where they'll have like a track, and they have to run like a certain distance, but halfway through the track they have dug a big hole.
Yeah. When they put a fake covering over it, like styrofoam, so it breaks.
Yeah, so it breaks right through, and they fall through, and then it's filled with something like some gross stuff, like maybe it's like noodles or something. It's filled with something, right? It's filled with shaved cream, some kind of foam, like fire foam or something. But it's funny because they go through, and then they'll start screaming, because a lot of Japanese comedy is yelling, screaming.
Mm-hmm.
If you watch Japanese TV for any period of time, it's about screaming is either funny or dramatic, or crying is either funny or dramatic.
Yeah. Big emotions, always big emotions.
Big reactions is what they want. big reactions is what they want. Yeah. Yeah. So there's been funny times of doing stuff like that. And then like there's like I said, there's some foreigners who've been around for a long time doing television and stuff for a long time. But sometimes their star fades and sometimes it goes on. Like I remember like Bob Sapp was huge for a long time here in Japan.
Oh
He had
yeah,
crazy
yeah.
fucking fights. And then he went over to America and made that movie Elektra, but he didn't tell all the people in Japan who had invested in him. Yeah.
Oh, he
And when
was
he
in that.
yeah,
I didn't realize that movie fell kind of flat though.
yeah, that was before MCU. That was all old school Marvel and it just sucked.
Yeah,
That was old
yeah, because
Daredevil.
that was a spin-off of Ben
Daredevil.
Affleck's Daredevil.
Yeah, we should not talk about that. Ben Affleck has ruined two superhero franchises, in my opinion. So, yeah, Ben.
We're not all Ryan Reynolds. We can't recover from one movie and superstar in another.
God damn it! Even like
Green Arrow to Deadpool, right?
no, not Green Arrow. He was Deadpool in the Wolverine.
Oh, not Green Arrow, so Green Lantern.
The Green Lantern. He died in that, but he was also Deadpool in the Wolverine. But remember, he had
the mouth done up and the vision.
Right.
Yeah.
And then he ends up killing that version of himself when he has the Cable's time slip device. He ends up going back and killing that
in the second Deadpool.
And then like another character, you probably don't remember this, but Chris Evans, the guy who plays Captain America. You know who he was first in the MCU?
Superman?
No,
not MCU.
he was in the MCU. It wasn't MCU. He was in the Marvel universe, but it wasn't the MCU that we know now. He was the Human Torch.
Oh, that's right, with Jessica Alba and and all of them.
All those fantastic.
And the guy from the detective show that played the thing.
Yeah.
He was the Torch. I remember that now.
Yeah,
I remember that.
Chris Evans.
He was much younger at that time too, though.
Yeah, but dude, Chris Evans is my Captain America, bro. If you want to look at that right here, Chris Evans is a badass motherfucker. And all those Captain America movies, man. Holy shit, those are cool. I just rewatched those recently. I got Disney Plus, of course, as does Robert. Disney Plus is great. Really enjoy that. They are not a sponsor of this program, by the way. They could be though. Call me up.
So yeah, and so I think the reason why I said we should do this podcast was it's sort of the other side of TV. So we've kind of discussed the lighter side and the scripted side, but there's another side where they use TV as advertising, as promotional.
Sure.
And so I've seen this for years where they'll do restaurant style.
Okay.
So they'll take like a challenge where the talent sits down and they have to guess the top 10 items on the menu.
Oh, I've seen this. Yeah.
And they'll sit there in a group sampling all this food until they can guess the top 10. And once they get it, they're finished. Or they'll compete against another group in another restaurant. Mm-hmm. And the first one to get top 10 wins a prize.
And one other take on that same thing you're talking about is they'll sit like one group on the left, one group on the right, and they'll eat all the menu items. Mm-hmm. And you have the guy in front of you, you have to decide the thing he hates the most. For example, if it was me and someone put shrimp in front of me, I would vomit I'd throw up in my mouth a little bit, but sure. he's got to play it cool and eat that.
Yeah. That was another show, and they would do that. Yeah. They would do that with different food, and then they would pick some seasonal stuff.
Yeah.
So it wasn't a regular food, but you had to kind of guess. And so he'd sample it and he'd be like, "Oh, it's quite good."
Yeah, well, I like the way they season this, and it's warm but not too hot. It's not too spicy. Yeah.
And you got to decide if he likes it or not. Yeah, that was a popular show. That was a later show. It's a little more class than the other ones.
Yeah. Well, when it comes to making movies and stuff, I've made movies here in Japan. Like I made a movie about Kyoto back in 2003, 2004. Mm-hmm. And in Kyoto, there's a famous shopping center, and one of the famous foods they sell there is takoyaki, which is if you don't know what that is, that's like a
fish balls,
not fish balls, squid balls,
octopus balls,
balls. Yeah, and when they're fresh off the mold that they make them on, they're piping hot.
Oh
Now,
yeah.
yeah, for me, I cannot handle hot food. I like my food cold or lukewarm at the best. I don't
Hmm.
want anything hot temperature wise. Now,
Yeah.
spice wise is a different story, but temperature
Yeah, you're
wise,
insane. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
I fucking hate, like, for example, miso soup. If you hand me miso soup and there's like steam coming out of it, you can go fuck yourself. I'm never gonna touch that. But if it's been sitting there for an hour, I'll drink it. It's fine. But, oh, that's cold. You want me to warm that up for you? No.
Nope.
Even coffee. Coffee, I'll get a cup of coffee and just let it sit for like 30 minutes without touching it because it's too hot for
Yeah.
me. I don't like hot.
I'm the same with ramen. Like
Yeah,
always comes too hot. Always comes too
pizza
hot.
too. Like, I don't understand why people say, "Oh, I burned the top of my mouth in pizza." It never happens to me because I fucking know how to wait 5 minutes. Yeah, I do not like burning my mouth that way. Like Robert said though, spicy food, that's another story. I'm insane.
Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, you got to figure out, like, in movies, maybe the person who's eating something doesn't really like it. So when I made this movie in Kyoto, they gave me
Mhm.
a takoyaki. Here, try this. The young lady in the film with me, the co-star, she gave me a takoyaki and I ate it. And I'm like, wow, that is really good. And as soon as that camera went off, it just said cut off, because it was so fucking hot, man. It was so fucking hot. Even the girl started cracking up because she knew. Because all I did was think about that scene all day as we were talking about this. I'm like,
And they couldn't just give you a cold one off camera, right? They couldn't skewer a cold
no,
one
I don't know why they couldn't do that, but they gave me a fucking hot one. It goes from the guy making it in
into the props
into the prop. Oh, the guy's making it on the mold.
on the
There's
side, right?
there's a mold, yeah, and they're filming it. And you can watch this movie. It's on YouTube called Kyoto 2004. If you want to watch it, you can see this scene, and you'll know this is the backstory of that scene. And the guy's making the takoyaki, and he's talking to me. He's like, "Be careful, this is hot." And I'm like, "Fucker, yeah." And then she goes, "Here, try one," and that gives me. I'm like, "That's pretty good." And as soon as they cut that camera, I was like, "Give me a fucking drink now." So hot, so hot.
Yeah.
It's acting.
Yeah.
That comes down to
I'm sure. Yeah, that kind of thing probably happens on every type of movie.
every movie and every TV show, I'm sure.
Yeah, and every place. But so these Japanese shows, they'll do like the food competition. So they're like trying to guess what's the top 10 items on the menu. They'll do other ones where they'll pit different frozen foods or different restaurants against each other, and they'll pick like who has the best style of this item, and then
Oh, yeah.
but it's all promotional for those restaurants, for those
Sure.
chains or
It might
those
be
brands.
gyoza dumplings or from
Yeah,
this restaurant,
yeah,
or gyoza dumplings from this restaurant. This might be small, but they have
yeah.
a lot of meat inside of it. This one might have a clove of garlic inside of it. They have different, like you said, promotional things.
And yeah, and then like they'll win one, they'll win one, they'll win one. Like they're taking turns,
It's a commercial,
and
basically.
and when they win, the staff get all excited, and when they lose, they're all disappointed, like they made the dish themselves.
Yeah,
I'm
but
like, they have no connection to the food. They're just the servers. They're just
yeah,
the restaurant employees.
but they're told to give a big reaction.
Yeah,
They're
yeah, of
told
course.
it's all fake, like I mentioned. They're told, like, everybody get in a group here and everybody watch this monitor. And when we point to you, you guys go, yeah. It might not even be the same day. It might
That's
even be
probably true.
a whole separate day, man. We got
Yeah,
more staff to come in on Thursday. Okay, we'll come back on Thursday and film all the staff that are in that day. Yeah.
yeah. And then the more recent one I was watching, and why we started this pod conversation, was they were doing the lottery, which really kind of annoyed me because the odds of winning the lottery
300 million to one.
in any type of thing, like if it's scratch tickets, maybe it's lower to get a lower prize win. But if it's number picking, it's your odds go off and different. But they were playing three different games. They played scratch tickets, which matching two images. They did a three number lottery, and then a 6-number lottery.
Yeah.
And wouldn't you know it, for every type of these, they won a few small prizes and one big one.
Of course.
A few small prizes and one big one.
Because the camera's automatically there.
And one big one.
Yeah.
Because if you're watching this as a naive audience member, you think, oh wow, you can actually win. Like, they not necessarily, and they don't tell you how much it costs them to buy all the tickets that they're scratching through.
Oh, those
They
are
don't tell you that those tickets are probably fake.
Yeah, those are made in some way.
Those are all prepped and propped, and they know who's going to win which time, so they're scratching it off in a certain order.
Yeah.
You know, it's all set up, but it gives this impression of you can win the lottery. And for me, I've never been a big fan of lottery. I'm not a fan of gambling, but to put it on this kind of TV show and sensationalize it really got my irk. I was like, I
Kids are
was like,
watching it,
why are you doing this? Because this is going to make people go out and waste their money on it. And I
dude.
understand if it's entertainment and if it's realistic. Like there have been YouTube shows. I've watched some YouTubers
Oh yeah,
where they'll buy 10,000 tickets
yeah, I've seen it.
and they'll scratch through it and they'll give you a total at the end of how much they spent and how much they won.
It's never
And
on
it's
their
never
side.
the same. They
Never on
always
their
lose
side.
money. They
Yeah,
always lose money.
dude.
But on this TV show recently, it just pissed me off that they were promoting the lotteries in this way.
I saw a TV show. It might have been on YouTube, where a guy he's the whole show setting up this guy jumping out of a helicopter onto the back of a marlin, a swordfish.
Okay.
So he's in a helicopter. He's flying out and he's talking. He's building on. I've been thinking about this stunt for a while, and we've been setting up all the safety precautions, and I've got like I don't have any scuba gear on me, so I'm just jumping in there. I'm gonna hold on to the marlin. I'm gonna try to hold on to it for like 8 seconds, like a rodeo, and so he does it. He jumps out of the helicopter, and then of course there's a camera in the water when he lands, and
Oh,
grabs the marlin, right, and he's holding on to it, and it counts down to like 8 seconds. Man, that shit's all fake. They must have had that fish in a fucking netted off area,
yeah.
and
In a
then
corral waiting for him.
yeah, well,
Held by other divers.
also they have a video of him jumping out of a helicopter, and then all of a sudden he's plunging in the water. He's on the back of that marlin, right? So
Yeah.
I reckon that they fucking cut that. They spliced that together. He's jumped off a boat while everyone like without outside of camera view is holding a net around that marlin. He's just jumped like 2 feet off a boat and he's grabbed this fucking marlin, right? Also on YouTube, just YouTube it, man.
Mm-hmm.
Guy jumps on a swordfish from a helicopter. Give me a fucking break.
Yeah.
A camera just happened to be there. Go fuck yourself.
Yeah, and it's the nature of TV. Like they're trying to make a product, they're trying to make it entertaining.
Fun. I like
you,
it.
you can understand that, and if you don't, if you want to suspend disbelief, then sure, why not? It's entertainment. The other side of TV though, like we have our good, we have our bad, but there is an interesting side where it's a bit educational. There are a lot of shows where they're quiz shows, and I can't really decide how much of that might be scripted.
Fucking all of it, bro. They just
I imagine a fair amount, but if it's scripted or not, I feel it's still good for the audience because it's going through. It's a quiz show. Like they're giving the audience a chance to guess.
Yeah.
Before the scripted or the unscripted talent manages to get it right or wrong.
Right.
So I think even in that sense, it's nice how it's a bit educational in a sense, or it's a bit fun to play along in that.
Especially
regard.
well,
whether it's fake or not.
If they're asking fun questions, that's always fun. A trivia game is fun.
Well, it can be wide range. Like it can be science, sports, history. It can be English.
Yeah.
Like Japanese to English or English to Japanese. A lot of them deal with calligraphy, like the Japanese characters, because it's such a complex subject. They have tons of different shows where they're trying to do that, or they do word games, word puzzles kind of things. So there's a lot of different game shows. And another side of that is also physical game shows.
Yep.
Where they're throwing darts or kicking balls or trying to balance stuff or catch stuff.
Yeah.
And that is maybe the most honest because
it's still fake,
hard,
bro. It's all
it'd
rigged.
be pretty hard to script all of it though.
All right, let's take a small break. I got it's like a race. Okay, so what other programs are you watching these days?
Well, Japanese shows, I don't watch too much of that unless I'm forced.
I was going to mention one that you forgot.
What's that?
I'm sure you love these too. Japanese ghost shows.
No.
Like, usually during August or whatever, during Obon, they have a lot of like did you see this photo? Like this is called a Sheen, like where it's a ghost photo. Ooh.
Yeah, there's actually a regular show every week called it's like Takeshi's Mysteries or whatever.
Yeah.
Where they'll go through different things. And it's not necessarily ghosts, although they do sometimes cover ghosts.
They do sometimes.
They'll cover like like homicides and
It's
plane
called
crashes and all
Unbelievable.
this other stuff. Unbelievable stories. Yeah.
Yeah, I've been on that show too.
Well, they do have a lot of reenactment on that.
They
So,
do. There's a lot. It's in Japanese. That's called a saigen drama, where it's a reenactment of what
okay.
happened. And I've
Yeah.
I've been on like that show at least 10 times.
Yeah. They always need foreigners.
Yeah,
It's a foreign
just
show.
they do reenactments or whatever of like you said, murders that have taken place or some kind of like mystery. They do a
Hmm.
lot of like airplane stuff or like
Yeah.
uh
Yeah.
where
A
there's
lot of
dramas like
airplane stuff.
airplanes missing missing a wheel and they can't land and stuff like that. So yeah, very, very cool stuff. And it's always over. You always say your lines in English and
Oh, and then dubbed over you.
they just dub over you in Japanese, like saying, like, oh, oh, like a landing gear, arimasen, like we don't have landing gear. Yeah. And during it, when you're saying, you just say it in English, like, oh my God, the plane's about to go down. What do you think we should do? I think we should pray. Fuck off. No, I was in a really, really famous version of that. You remember the movie called Rudy?
Yeah. Football player.
The football player. Yeah, the football player. So they did a Beat Takeshi's Mysteries or Unbelievable about that story, where
Okay.
Rudy was a small guy who couldn't get on the football team, and
Mhm.
then there's all these big guys there who were making fun of him and shit, and then finally they cheered him on, and he got the last touchdown of the last game, and then everyone was happy.
Yeah.
Shit like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So obviously I was one of the big football player guys. Now, the fucked up part about this is I have never played a game of sports ball in my fucking life. I'm a martial
Oh,
artist.
really?
I've never played.
From Texas.
Yeah, I'm a martial artist, man. I don't play sports ball, and I don't even really know the rules. And then, like, what they did is they went to the Navy base, and they got a bunch of other real football players from the
Mhm.
Navy base in Japan,
Yeah.
probably Yokosuka base, and they said, "Come down here, and we need you guys to be on TV. We're gonna put you guys as one team against our actor guys over here as another team." Now, all the football guys, the real football guys, had all their own gear, real
Yeah.
football gear,
Yeah. Of course.
and the Fuji TV guys like myself, we had all the fake gear that was paper mache. So they were like, "We're gonna do a scrimmage, and you guys, Jeremy, you're out here on the front line, and then there's this giant fella across from you, and all you got to do is you got to run towards each other. Then we're gonna cut. Easy enough, right? Sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. So what do I do? Now you get like this, and then you get like that, and then they're gonna wait. It's gonna say the magic word, and then you run towards each other, and then
Charge forward.
yeah, and then we're gonna cut. Except they didn't cut,
Yeah.
and this guy ends up spearing me like a pro wrestling move. Like you remember the Rhino from pro wrestling?
Yeah. It drops down low.
Oh, he's gonna gore. He's gonna gore. It was like that. He's gonna gore, and like the guy hits me in the midsection, lifts me up, drives his hips forward, turns, and gets a perfect double leg on me. I wasn't expecting. I'm just like whack on my back, and I'm like, I am out. I'm done. No one's hitting me again.
And your paper mache held up.
Barely, bro. It was all fucked up. There was nothing. There was like, inside of a football helmet, there's like an inch or so of pad between your head
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
none of that. And then like whatever like paper or wadded up newspaper they put under my shirt did not help. I got run over by a Mack truck. Once again, on my back, gasping for air. And I'm like, you said you were gonna cut. You said you were gonna cut. You didn't cut.
we meant cut it after.
Yeah, we're gonna cut that in the room. We'll cut out
In the
part-
editing room. Yeah.
We'll cut out the part where you cry and ask for your mom. I don't know how to play fucking football. I don't even know the rules.
Yeah, there has been a recent chain of reenactment shows, and it's police based. So they take these police stories from the U.S.
Yeah,
and they have one foreigner, the tall black foreigner,
like me,
tall skinny black foreigner,
like me.
and then they have like all the Japanese guys around him, and one of the Japanese guys is a action star So he does a big kick at the end of every episode.
Yeah.
He does a big kick to show off. And they either do policemen
Mhm.
or they do rescue
All
or
right.
they do firemen. And they're real stories,
Yeah.
either from Japan or from North America. And they're just doing a reenactment and dramatization. And
Right.
that's a recent flavor. There's been a lot of that on TV recently.
Well, it goes in cycles. Every 3 or 4 years, it changes cycles, and that's one of the cycles. It'll go from ghost stories every weekend to rescue stories to police stories to sports stories and divorce
Plane
stories.
accidents.
Yeah, plane accidents. Abused wife has to get away from her evil husband, and saves the children, and then she needs a kidney transplant, but the kid that she gave away adoption when she was 16 doesn't know who he is. Suddenly gives her blood that saves her. I don't know. All these kind of
And yeah,
made up stories.
one of the other ones I like is they'll replay North American TV shows.
Oh yeah,
and they'll dub over
Japanese.
it.
Yeah.
And so one of the ones, and they just show clips. They don't show the whole show. They just show clips and dub over it and make the story.
Yeah.
One of the ones I actually like, and I wish I should actually watch more of it, is they do the customs officials in Canada.
I wonder what
So
that's
the guy comes in and says, I'm here to meet my girlfriend. I'm going to be here for 2 weeks. And he's got all this stuff. And they're like, it looks like you're coming here to work. And they figure out that he's actually got a job lined up and he just doesn't have a work visa.
Yeah, that's like that a lot. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's customs. And then there's the smugglers and whatnot. And it's pretty cool that they take this Canadian show and they worked it to a Japanese angle.
Dude, it's funny that you brought that up because like in the jujitsu world, in the martial arts world, that happens all the time. Like a guy's going to go to Canada, for example, from Los Angeles.
Mm-hmm.
A famous, I'm not going to say who he is, but it's a famous jujitsu guy. And he's going to teach a seminar, which he's going to go over to Canada and earn money.
But it's a business trip.
It's a tourist trip. He doesn't
But he can't claim it as business because that requires you to show a contract.
And you got to pay. I'm sure you have to pay
all the
Canadian
details.
taxes. Whatever you earn money in Canada, you have to pay their tax system, right? Same in the States. Same in England. I know this happened to a guy when he went to England to teach a seminar. He got busted in England and got sent to a little waiting room and sent back to the U.S. because somebody was jealous and told on him, look out for this guy because he's coming over to teach a seminar.
They've also done. I've heard podcasters like comedian podcasters. They've also talked about this when one of their staff members says the wrong thing to the customs agent.
Right.
So the staff member says we're here to do a show, and then the talent just kind of goes, oh Jesus, here we go, because he knows it's going to be a whole rigmarole of where's your contract, what's the venue, what's the price, and
right. I even get that shit when I go back to the States myself. They're like, oh, you've been in Japan for a long time. What do you do? What's your job? And I'm like, my job is talking.
Yeah, my job is my job.
My job is talking about stuff. Like can you be more specific? Computer stuff. Talking about computer stuff. Like I can sit here and explain it to you, but fuck, bro, I get paid to do that, man. Come on,
Yeah.
But then comedians and jujitsu guys, they get busted going over to Canada, especially because Canada's easy to get to from the States.
Yeah.
So the custom guys have to know about that. They got to be watching like Facebook, like doing searches like jujitsu, seminars in Canada or Calgary or.
I think they just kind of question the people like what's your purpose of coming to Canada? And they can kind of tell if you're being deceptive.
So it's been years since last time I was in Canada. Must have been 2002, 2003. I was in Vancouver.
Wow, that was a
long time ago. And I remember going there. Then I had to have a visa, and they checked it out, and then they were like, "What are you here for? What are you going to be doing?" I was like, "I'm going to go around looking at Harley Davidsons and stuff, and eating a bunch of cool food, and looking at comic books, and probably going to smoke some weed."
Yeah. Even back in the day, Vancouver was
Vancouver, man, doesn't
the pot capital of Canada.
Yeah. Doesn't give a fuck. Now it's all legal everywhere in Canada.
Yeah, that's a real change too. When I was back there 2 summers ago, just seeing all the stores, or what it was actually once it was 2 summers ago. Yeah. Seeing all the stores and having it as a regular thing now.
My wife was
It's really
freaked out.
different.
Yeah, we were back in Los Angeles in 2019 for my niece's,
Okay.
and
Yeah.
like everywhere says buy marijuana here, and she's like, wow, that's a thing here, because in Japan it's the
Oh,
same.
it's
Like
super
it's like
legal.
having a kilo. Well, having one joint is like having a kilo of cocaine. You're going to
Yeah.
prison forever. You're probably going to die in jail, you know. But it's serious shit here.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
don't
Yeah.
fuck around with it. Yeah, but in California, man, it's everywhere. Which I'm sure Canada's like that now. It's been nearly 20 years since I've been to Canada, but yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
I still want you to bring me back those ketchup chips, man.
I'll grab those next time.
Yeah, I'm so like one of my things that I like to do is I like to try different kinds of chips. Like I'm into Pringles now.
Hmm.
Yeah, I can't get. There's two kinds I can't get that are from Canada. There's the all flavor where they take all the seasonings, like you get ranch and onion, sour cream, and ketchup, and they mix all of them in one bag.
Oh, it's called All Dressed.
All dressed. That's the ones. All dressed.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
want to
Yeah.
try those, and I want to try ketchup ones. Ketchup
Yeah. Ketchup's
Lay's.
good.
Yeah, you said Lay's is,
Ketchup's well, Lay's is a popular American brand that has ketchup chips, and those are popular.
but they're only in Canada. I can't get them here.
The Canadian brand that's more Canadian is Old Dutch. That's a
Okay,
Canadian company, or at least when I was growing up, Old Dutch was the chip maker.
but is that the ketchup? Is that the best ketchup
Yeah,
ones? Okay,
they make All Dressed. They make ketchup. They made a hickory smoked barbecue that they discontinued for a while, and they brought it back recently.
that sounds awesome. Yeah, I got a bunch of Pringles I still got to go through. I got honey mustard. I've got fish and chips, London fish and chips. I've got barbecue. I've got pizza flavored. I got cheddar cheese.
Hmm.
I still got cans and cans and cans to go through.
Yeah,
My wife got some for my
Japan's
birthday.
recently been doing a whole flavor
Yeah,
explosion on Pringles recently. It's like the
that's
Kit
why.
Kats.
Yeah, that's why I got into them. It's
Yeah.
exactly like Kit Kats. That's why I got into them, because my wife for Christmas she bought me like 4 cans that she found at a convenience store. It was ranch. Uh, it was ranch and pizza and honey mustard and like barbecue. Yeah, and she bought those for me. And they even had one called triple sour cream and onion. So it's like triple the powder or whatever.
Right.
Yeah, not like a normal sprinkling, but like a triple of what the normal amount would be. So those are fucking awesome. I like it. It's fun stuff. And the Kit Kats are fun too. I like Kit Kats. I think she bought the matcha cream Kit Kats,
Mhm.
and she bought strawberry shortcake Kit Kats. Those are delicious.
Yeah, Kit Kat is really good. They have like monthly flavors. So they roll through a whole bunch. And then they have regional ones which are based upon the different prefectures.
Correct. When I go
The
to
more recent ones that I liked was they had a salty lychee
oh,
back
that
in
was a good
June.
one. Yeah, I like that one.
I saved a few of those. Those are really good.
Those
And
are
then around October they had a pumpkin pie one, apple pie one.
apple pie. I haven't tried that one.
And it is crazy how much it tastes like apple pie.
Yeah, imagine it's like a cream and cinnamon.
Yeah, and it's got a bit of crunchiness, like a natural Kit Kat. So
Nice.
it's kind of like eating the crust of a pie.
It's got the cookie inside of it. Yeah.
Yeah, it's really weird how you really think of it as apple pie when you're eating it. But
Yeah.
of course, the color is like purple
Oh, is it purple? I
because
thought
it's a
it'd be like
Halloween. It's Halloween apple pie one.
I thought it'd be like a light brown. If you think about apple pie,
No,
you think about light brown, right?
it's
Cinnamon.
purple for Halloween. It's a Halloween flavor, but it's apple pie. I don't understand the combination of Halloween and apple pie, but it is good.
It's like Christmas and KFC here in Japan. Like, what the
Oh
fuck
yeah,
does it have
yeah.
to do with anything? That's capitalism. That's just marketing.
I heard KFC's also trying to break into the New Year's thing now too.
Oh, really? Is that a new thing?
They're trying to market like your traditional Japanese New Year. You would have a series of boxes,
Sure.
and inside each box would be different style Japanese stuff all put in there. It's very arranged,
Yeah,
like a bento,
traditional food.
like a fancy bento box. But
Yeah.
you'd have like 2 or 3 or 4 of them
Yeah,
in a square box.
sure.
And now KFC is trying to break into the New Year's with their own boxes, and we ordered KFC just to try it out.
I would do.
Not on
I love
not
KFC.
on New Year's Day, but we
Yeah.
tried it, and
Yeah.
it's regular KFC, but it comes in the special box for New
You can
Year's.
do a lot of amazing shit with KFC, especially if you have a rice cooker. You have a rice
Mhm.
cooker in your house? Everyone has it. What you do is you start making rice your normal way. You put the rice in, you put in a cup of water,
Yeah.
uh, and then what you want to do is you want to add like 2 pieces of KFC chicken on top of that. Just set it on top, and then
Yeah.
let the rice cook normally, because all that water and that KFC spices and the chicken
Mixes with the oil and
mixed with the
the
oil
and
and the
the
rice, yeah, and
fat of the chicken.
yeah, and it comes out and you got KFC rice flavored rice. It's pretty good. You can if you want to go super fancy, you can get like frozen peas and carrots and throw that in
Mhm.
there as well, and you get like a little. My mom would call that a casserole. It just needs like a bunch of shit thrown in a pot, basically. But yeah, that's what she would call it. It's pretty good.
Yeah, there's a bunch of different rice cooker recipes
Facts.
and
Yeah,
options you can do.
yeah.
People even do like pancakes or bread inside their rice cookers.
Really, I've never tried. I didn't even thought it would
Yeah.
work though. Why not?
Yeah.
I mean, 'cause I make tortillas at my house all the time.
It depends on your rice cooker because some of the more complicated ones, they've got a whole slew of different options in kanji that I can't read.
Right. Well,
But like
you can also get
you can set it on different levels of cooking and different temperatures and different timing.
you can
And
get an
then you
instant pot.
combine that with a recipe of ingredients that you mix inside of it.
Yeah, probably like some curry powder or something. You can make a
Because it's
dry
basically
curry.
a steamer, right? The rice cookers are basically steamers.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah, because
So
that makes sense. It's basically a steamer. Just you cook the water off. You put like 1 cup of rice and 1 cup of water, and then you cook the water off, and it just makes sticky rice, right?
right.
So adding extra shit in there just means that's going to be flavored to your rice. So why not add curry powder? Why not add you know KFC?
Yeah.
It's going to be delicious. Does anyone hate KFC? Everyone loves KFC. Even if you like, because you get people out there who are like, oh, McDonald's. How could you put that in your body like this, bitch? Oh, nom 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 nom. Yeah, you watch me around a Big Mac. That shit's going down. Yeah,
Yeah.
that shit's good, man. There's a reason they sold 100 billion of them. No one hates it. You can't tell me you hate it. That shit's
It's not good for you,
It's
but you
not
still
good.
eat it.
There's nothing good about it. It's terrible for you. It's sugar and fat. It's just everything that your body
Salt,
wants.
sugar, and fat.
Yeah,
Three
it's everything
things that
your
the body
body
craves.
wants, but it's nothing your body needs. But
Yeah.
it's so delicious. Because like the other day, because like in Japan, McDonald's changes up their menu quite often. Like
Oh, yeah.
they had like a teriyaki something or and
They have an egg one or a
yeah, add an egg to something.
karaoke burger. Yeah.
It's crazy. And like I'll be sitting at home as I normally work from home, and then like I'll get like an email and it'll be like, oh, Grand Big Mac. And I'm what the fuck is
Yeah.
that? And you open it up and it's like a Big Mac, but like bigger size. It's like more wide, I guess. I'm like,
Yeah.
I'll fucking order. And they deliver. I'm like, I'll have
Yeah,
one
that
of
was
those.
a recent change.
Yeah, that's
Like
that
2
was
years
this week.
ago they started doing deliver.
Yeah, but that was this week they added that, and they're like we also have this Grand Big Mac, and then they sometimes they have like it's called buy, and that's a Japanese word for double.
Mhm.
So they get the Big Mac buy, the double Big Mac, and I don't eat McDonald's very often, but if that meal pops up and it says like we've got like a double Big Mac that's extra wide with extra stuff on it, I might be like, yeah, well, fuck it, I'll go to the gym. Just order it, Sometimes, plus, you don't have to go anywhere. They deliver that shit.
Yeah.
That's what made Domino's famous. Domino's doesn't have great pizza. The
No.
fact is, you don't have to get out of your fucking house to go get it. Is the thing, right? You got people.
And they don't have, and in Japan, I don't think they have a single sit-down restaurant.
No, not at all.
I don't think so.
And the thing is, you don't have to leave your house. You got people coming over, bunch of dudes. I'm just gonna order 3 or 4 pizzas. Everyone's gonna be happy. No one's gonna bitch about it, right? And then like today, I realized Domino's also makes hot subs.
Oh yeah, they've got a side menu.
Yeah, the side
Bunch of stuff.
because I thought you had to order like 2,000 yen worth, but that's not the case here. Where at least where I live,
No.
you can order 100 yen and they'll deliver it. Like you can order just French fries and they'll fucking deliver it. I'm like, holy shit! You can order just a sub and they'll just fucking deliver it. Which basically a sub is just bread with pizza stuff on it, right?
Mhm.
It's just two pieces of bread with pizza stuff on it. But you don't want to order a whole pie because you're just by yourself, you know. So I was like, I'll order that spicy Italian. Look at that. Bring it to me. Make it mine. Don't look me in the eyes. You hand it to me.
And no tipping too, because
Yeah,
you're
no
in
tipping. Go
Japan.
fuck yourself. Yeah. Should have stayed in school. Drunk Jeremy. That was my drink just jumping all over me.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm gonna leave that in. Got excited about
Yeah,
Domino's.
there are a lot of the fast food in Japan is pretty good. Sometimes we go traditional, like we'll get the gyudon, katsudon kind of things, which is like beef. It's like rice bowls with beef
Pork.
or pork cutlets with an egg cooked into it, kind of thing, on
Yeah,
top for the people that aren't in Japan. Um,
what do
but
you?
you have all the other options. Like recently, Carl's Jr. and Shake Shack have been opening up more locations in Tokyo.
Yeah, but they don't deliver. They don't.
Not
They don't
yet.
deliver. Not yet.
Well, you can do Uber Eats though with them probably.
So Uber Eats is kind of cool, but the thing is, it's very specific on where you live. Like where I live, out in the
Ah,
there's no Uber Eats, man.
yeah, right.
There's probably is an Uber Eats, but they don't have Carl's Jr. because there's nothing around close to it.
No, I don't think there's a Carl's Jr. out by where you live.
No way.
Yeah, there's a
There's a lot
few
of
in town.
stuff on my floor though.
Ah, you'll get it later.
It's gonna be stinky and smelly tomorrow. Good, I like that. Because I'm going on vacation.
Yeah, yeah. I'm gonna go check out some other towns. Are you using the Go-To program?
The go-to program has been suspended until April 7th. Oh no,
Interesting.
February 7th. Sorry.
Now, is that sort of an admission that it was part of the problem of the increasing numbers?
You would think, right? I
You
think
would
it is a
hope
huge.
they'd realize that.
Yeah, but I think the problem is like they've done another lockdown here in Japan, and
No, well, a Japanese lockdown.
yeah, which means everything's got to close by 8 p.m. Right?
Hmm.
All bars, all restaurants that serve alcohol have to close by 8 p.m. Other than that,
But
normal.
they say that, but that's not mandatory. That's not enforced.
There's nothing they can do to enforce it. That's the Japanese law, right? They can
It's just social order
yeah,
makes everyone do it anyway.
they ask you very politely to do it.
Yeah. And actually I was out tonight after 8 p.m. because I'm a rebel. And
As you are.
I had to go buy tofu.
Rebel tofu.
And I did note that a lot of the stores that I would normally see open late were closed. And I didn't see a bar open after 8 p.m.
And you kind of live in a bar heavy area too.
I live in the city center, so
Yeah.
there's lots of bars, there's lots of shops, there's lots of stores, there's
Yeah.
lots of offices.
Yeah.
But certainly it looked like everyone was following the suggestion of closing at 8 p.m.
I'm just gonna say it. One of the good things about COVID that's happened because of COVID is the remote work, the telework.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
That's going to shake up the city. That's going to shake up the nation. They're going to realize that it's possible.
yeah,
They wouldn't have accepted it if this hadn't happened.
right. Because you have to look at go back on YouTube and look at Japanese trains
Oh,
and look at the ridiculous amount of people on those trains. Once a train's full and as long as no one's dead, they'll still try to shove people on the train.
well, they have staff that are literally pushers.
There's
They
people
push more people on the train.
that will stick their hands on your ass and push you into a train.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
They will cram as many people into that car as they can.
some people are not even on the ground at certain points. Little people are lifted off the ground and like kind of
Suspended
in the air because there's people just getting crammed in.
Yeah.
Google it, man. YouTube that shit. It's real.
Yeah.
I'm not joking. But
and then now I still go into the office because I have to.
Right.
Certain reasons I have to.
Yeah.
And the trains are not empty, but they're certainly much lighter. Certainly not the normal amount of people that I experienced before COVID.
Right.
I've been told, because I'm in a new office in a new company, I'm told that the elevator situation before COVID was very difficult.
Yeah.
It would take you 10 minutes or 20 minutes to literally get an elevator from your floor to your office floor.
Yeah.
But now the elevators are almost empty.
Right.
So
Right.
that's another change as far as COVID. It's actually made it nicer in Tokyo because it's easier to get to work and it's easier to get up to your office.
Right. And for example, when I was going into the office and the company I worked for had their own cafe
Mm.
on the 19th floor. I'm not going to say what it was, but you would go down to the cafe and if you're an employee, you can get like a Starbucks coffee or whatever, and the company pays for that for you.
Nice.
But like you just said, the elevator. If I'm going from the 24th floor to the 19th floor, that's going to take me half an hour.
Yeah.
Because it's stopping every floor, and then it comes by and it's going up and it's full. And you got to wait for the next one to come down, and it comes down and it's full. You got to wait for the next one to come down, and there's a bit of room to get on, but you got to really get intimately close to a dude
A
that.
lot of other people from other companies.
Yeah. It's
And if any of those that might suggest taking the stairs, you may not have access to your floor from the stairwell.
they may not, and only in emergencies they'll give you all access.
Yeah. You can go into the stairwell because that's an emergency exit and it's meant to be able to get out of the building in a
You can't get off on that floor.
situation.
Yeah.
But you may not be able to exit the stairwell except for the ground floor. So
Yeah.
you can't consider, I'll just walk up five flights. Nope.
Yeah, it's not an option.
Luckily my building I have a card that allows me to get off on my floor, so I can actually take the stairs between floors.
Yeah.
But I know a lot of buildings, and I've been in buildings before where I got locked in staircases.
My building.
I had to call coworkers and ask them to come out and let me in.
Yeah, and then in the building that I was working in before, if you don't renew your access every 3 months, you might get in a situation like that where you just saying, I'm just going to go one floor, I'm going to pop down. Oh crap! I forgot to renew one. It's a Sunday. I forgot to say I was coming in.
And you're
Sunday.
stuck.
Yeah, you're stuck and no one's in there. You gotta call emergency to get you out.
Yeah. So for those curious, Tokyo does have lockdown, although it's certainly not anything like North America or other countries in Europe per se.
Well, we had an actual response to COVID-19 where North America or America didn't have really much of a response. It still hasn't up to this point.
Well, we can all say America's different. The fact that you had a different leader in North America, and we don't have to get into that leader, but they also have a very independent system for the states as well. So you have the federal level, which is supposed to be leading the states, but then the states can do what they want as well because they have states' rights.
Yeah,
and I think sort of at every level there was a different approach to it in the U.S. dependent upon the party that they were in. Like that's the partisanship in the U.S. is just unbelievable how it goes to every facet of life.
I don't want to talk about it.
Yeah, we don't want to get into that. But Canada had a similar thing, but Canada, they did keep their numbers low. And I think part of that was they actually restricted travel within the provinces.
Oh, a lot
like
province
to province, and even sections of the province to other sections of the provinces. They restricted that.
Australia did the same thing. So they got theirs down to like 0 per day infections
for a while. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then there was an outbreak in like Queensland or something.
Yeah.
And so everyone tried to quarantine the whole area of Queensland.
Right. Victoria.
They're like, don't leave your. I think do they call them states or provinces? I don't know which one.
Who fucking knows?
But they were like, don't leave your section of Australia. We want you to stay there because you guys got cases and we don't.
Yeah, Melbourne was locked down for a long time. I got some friends in Melbourne. I got friends in Brisbane.
Yeah.
And also in Sydney. But Melbourne got locked down for a while, but I think they're pretty much back to normal right now.
Yeah, and Canada was doing fines. Police would roll up if you were having a party, if you got tattled on. But in Japan, as we've said, they can't enforce anything, but they do come up with guidelines. They do kind of look at the situation and make suggestions of how people should do things.
Yeah.
And certainly, I feel the masks are a good thing. They don't they don't prevent you from catching COVID, but they help reduce the possibility of you spreading COVID.
Right.
And
Don't be a mask hole and just refuse
that's
to
the
wear a mask.
purpose of the masks,
Yeah.
unless you're wearing the the medical version, the N95, that's properly fitted. You have no facial hair obstructing the seal.
Right.
That's the one that prevents you from catching it. That's the other level of mask wearing. But
Hmm.
the normal level of mask wearing in Japan is meant to prevent you from giving it to somebody else if you have it, or at least to reduce the possibility.
Right.
And on Japanese TV, back to the Japanese TV, I've seen whole shows where they talk about how particles can float in a room, how much particles come out when you're talking, how much come out when you're eating, how much come out just from normal breath. So they're like, don't sit this distance, because and they'll show like that infrared camera where you can
Droplets.
see the droplets and the mist coming out from a person's mouth, and they're kind of scientifically trying to show you what it's like.
Yeah.
And they're very informative shows, and I think maybe that's sort of the approach that's lost in a lot of other countries. They don't kind of break it down for people to see the science of it, see the facts of it.
I think.
And in Japan, they're used to this. Every time there's a situation like the big earthquake where
Hmm.
the reactors were melting down,
2011. Yeah.
2011
March
March.
11.
They had people on TV explaining the science of what was happening inside the reactors, why they become a runaway reaction, what the material is, what kind of side effects, what kind of flow, and they explained it to everyone.
Mhm.
Like they're not going too deep, but they're giving enough details that people can see that and not panic. They can see
Yeah.
it, understand it, and go, okay, what are the precautions they're suggesting? And
Right.
it's not opinion based. It's not upon any sort of party lines, as we're going to avoid from the U.S. discussion. But it's all kind of fact and societal. Like everyone considers, how will this affect me, and how can I affect other people?
That's the thing.
And
In
I think,
Japan, they think about other people, or in
mm,
the States, at least where I'm from, it's not always the case, unfortunately.
well, normally when the chips are down, people are all self motivated.
Yeah.
Their self interest is the strongest interest. Like self preservation is one of our key factors of evolution.
People in your tribe. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and tribal and everything else. So I can understand how people will start hoarding toilet paper if they think that's how they're going to survive, which was the oddest thing in the world.
Can't eat it.
But I can understand that sort of me first mentality in an emergency situation, in a panic.
Mhm.
But Japan seems to have more of a societal thing that holds on, and that onto that, where it keeps the level where they don't panic, right? They stay more society until a lower point where they start panicking, become
Hmm.
obnoxious assholes.
Yeah.
Like everyone in the end is self preserving person. Like that's just a natural instinct. But I think Japan seems to have, and other Asian countries, because this is not just Japan. This other
I can,
countries as
yeah.
well
I can only speak
have
about
this
my
societal
experience.
level.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Right.
where they won't panic, and they'll take into consideration, and they'll listen to some of the science, which is also key.
Have you ever had like a asshole Japanese person for the most part? Like, have you ever had to deal with like an asshole Japanese person? For the most part, in my experience in Japan, has never been like an asshole Japanese person. I'm sure I can probably think about it for a minute and come up with some explanation.
Oh yeah,
But
there's been
mostly,
little ones here and there.
yeah, mostly for the most part, the worst ones have been other foreigners.
Uh,
How about you? Your experience might
I
be
can
different.
remember when foreigners were acting up and being rambunctious, but
No, I'm talking about your personal dealings with people.
yeah, I can't think of one specifically. It's funny enough, the Japanese one kind of pops into my mind, where I was going up a spiral staircase
Yeah.
and people were coming down the spiral staircase. So, like any country, you pick a side, right? Like they're going down the left, you go up on the right.
Turn
Well,
your
this one
shoulders.
guy,
Ooh, yeah.
yeah, but this one guy was coming down next to the other people coming down, and he yelled at me to get out of the way. And I've got people behind me coming up, and there's people beside him coming down. I'm like, no, you move.
Yeah. No kidding.
And he got right in my face, and he told me to leave the country. He's like, go back to your home. I was like,
I would be like in Yokohama.
I'm following the system
Yeah.
that everyone else has agreed upon, because you see guys going down on the left, guys going up on the right, and this one guy's yelling at me because he doesn't want to follow the system.
I always ask him when I hear that, go back to your country. I'm like, where is my country, man?
Yeah.
How do you decide where is your country? Think about it.
I don't know. I'm a resident here. So.
Yeah, most of my adult life has been in Japan. I've been here since I was 23. I'm 49 now.
So most of your life has been here.
Yeah, most of my life.
I'm not that far yet, but I'm creeping up on it.
But think about it. Like, I was in Canada from the age of 2 to 5, and then I came back to the States from 5 to 18, almost 19, I'd say 19, and then I got shipped to Korea. I was in Korea for 20, almost 21. I came back to the States for 21, 22, 23. Then I was off to Japan. And then
you've definitely been outside of the States longer than you've been in the States.
Yeah, but I was born in Chicago. But I mean, actually, all my influences, and if you think about it, even during my time in the States, I lived in Mexico for a little while. You know, I used to run away to go to Mexico because I had a car and we could just drive down there, and they didn't have any kind of visa requirement. I could just go to Mexico and I'd stay down there for months until I ran out of money and come back to my mom's house. and then once I joined the military, I got shipped off to Korea.
Yeah.
And then I came back and I finished my military service. And then once I got out of the military, I met a Japanese woman. Then I decided to get married and come to Japan. And I've been here
ever since
26 years. So that more than what I ever lived in the States. Yeah. So when someone says, go back to your country, I'm like, Yokohama? I'll go back to Yokohama. I kind of want to go back to Yokohama. You want to pay for my taxi? Yeah.
Okinawa?
I lived in Okinawa for a year. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
you're right. Most of the time, it probably is foreigners causing trouble.
Yeah.
You know, I've seen maybe 2 fights between Japanese on a train platform when they got into a pushing match.
2 Japanese people fighting?
Yeah.
I've seen that.
That's like 2 out of how often do I ride the train? Almost every day, right?
Yeah, but I've seen that a lot of times in the last 26 years.
Well, you're probably on more crowded trains than me too. Yeah.
Back in the day, yeah, not anymore. Yeah. But you know, human beings are going to get in fights no matter what country you're in. Yeah. But a lot of other times I've seen a few Japanese people who were, maybe they were drunk or a bit obnoxious, but necessarily rude or just mean. Not really. No.
It's certainly a rare occurrence.
Not to my face. I mean, I've seen the Japanese only signs in Nagasaki, you know, at certain bars, but I kind of get that too, because in around Nagasaki there's a bunch of Navy bases. Yeah. And you get guys who just want to come in there and cause trouble, who are like 18, 19 years old.
They're young,
dumb, full of cum, and then all the guys who normally hang out at that bar are probably in their 50s or 60s.
Yeah.
You know, they don't need to deal with a 19-year-old dude who doesn't speak their language. Come on, who wants to deal with that? I get that. Yeah. So I mean, for the most part, my experience here in Japan has been extremely positive. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean,
even with the COVID. There's been some odd stories.
Yeah.
Where like and they're only a handful.
Mm-hmm.
There's like I remember one story, a Japanese hotel guest.
Yeah.
Was refusing to put on a mask when going to the morning breakfast.
What an asshole.
Yeah. But like these are rarer stories that
was probably on national news. Yeah.
They get picked up because they are so rare.
Yeah.
There was another one that was refusing to wear a mask on a flight. So they landed the plane early and kicked him off.
Yeah. I mean, the people I live around, in my area where I live, I've mentioned before, it's kind of a bit countryside, but the people I live around are all in their 70s, and they're lovely, man. They come knock on my door. They want me to go to their they have like a community things where they pick up the trash around our apartment.
Mm-hmm.
And they're like, would you join? I'm like, sure, I'll join. Because they just want people to come down and join. And then if I join, it's cool because a foreigner's here, you know, and they're happy about it. And everybody wants to talk to me and shit like that. And like when I take my Harley out, for example, if there's a guy next like in my same building. He sees my Harley, comes over. Man, this is a cool bike, bro.
Yeah,
He wants to talk about bikes and stuff like that. He's got like a moped, and he thinks he's a biker and shit. But still, he just wants to. He just wants to
there's
talk
a
and be.
fascination with it for
Well,
sure.
he wants to be friends. He's just trying to be friendly. That's all he's trying to do, and I have no problem with that. I really kind of like it. Yeah. So even like the guy who lives underneath our house, we were on the 5th floor. The guy on the 4th floor, he came up and he's like, "Oh, you guys live on the top floor. I got a tomato plant. It doesn't get a lot of sun. You guys want it?" So he gives me his tomato plant, and he gives it to me in the very beginning, like in April. So by the whole summer, we're getting these huge fucking tomatoes off this plant, that he gave us for free. And so I take a couple down to him, give them to him. These are from the plant you gave me. He's really thankful. Thanks so much. And then he wants to give me tea for bringing him tomatoes from his own plant.
Oh, the whole gift cycle. Oh,
Yeah, but I mean, my point being is they're kind, lovely people.
most of the time.
Yeah,
Most of the time.
most of
Yeah.
the time. Yeah, for the most part.
Yeah. Which is probably why I heard the one stat, the Japan out of the G7 countries has the lowest per capita infected rate for COVID.
Probably.
It's just they're managing it by people doing it themselves. Like they're not forcing anyone to do things. They're not forcing anyone. They're not fining anyone money. They're not punishing businesses that might go against the recommendations.
But people here have always worn masks ever since I've been here 26 years. They've always worn masks.
Pollen season.
But it's always
with
been
a cold
considered manners here in Japan. You don't want to cough on other people. You don't want to sneeze on other people or have snot coming out of your nose that you don't know about. They just cover their face up.
Yeah.
They've always done that for years.
Yeah, it's more of a natural thing, and other Asian countries as well.
Yeah,
like mask wearing in Asia is quite common.
Yeah, I never saw it until I got here, though. That was like a weird thing for me. I was like, what?
Oh, just in Asia. Yeah, North America, it's crazy.
Yeah, you used to never see that anywhere in North America.
Just a doctor in North America would wear a mask.
Or in a hospital. If you're in a hospital where everyone's got leprosy, why not? Put a mask on. But yeah, otherwise nothing. Yeah.
And already here people are fairly social distant in Japan. Like they don't crowd up. There's more personal space as far as Japanese.
It depends where you are. If
Japanese
you're in Shinjuku Station, there's no personal space. Everyone's bumping into you and shit.
Yeah, no, but I mean in general, like North Americans tend to be closer. Like we'll get closer together to talk, but Japanese will keep more of a distance naturally. Unless they're in a small space. Because
they might start.
Yeah. It's more typical for Japanese to keep a larger gap between each other when they're talking.
Mind the gap. But because they might start doing karate fights.
Everybody was kung fu fighting.
Yeah, it was quick as lightning. Yeah, a little bit frightening. On that note,
expert timing.
Yeah, expert timing. On that note, all right, we've been podcasting for a while, so it's probably time to bring this to an end.
Mm-hmm. Japanese TV is fascinating.
It is fascinating. If you have a chance to check it out, you should check it out. If you have
lots on YouTube, for sure.
Yeah, there's tons on YouTube. You can look up the things that I mentioned on YouTube. There's a movie called Kyoto 2004, and there's the guy jumping from the helicopter onto a swordfish. Check those things out on YouTube.
There's the guys being beat for laughing.
There's
that on YouTube.
Yeah. Japanese guys getting beat up for laughing. Do not laugh. Variety show. Check those out on YouTube.
Yeah.
Japan's a fun place to live, fun place to visit. If you get a chance, right now it's kind of locked down, but if you get a chance, come over here. And if you have questions, you can always ask us. We're always here to answer them for you. Yeah, that's about it for us. Yeah.
All right,
Robert. We'll see you next time.
Yeah. Have yourself a good one.
Take care. Bye-bye.